Welcome everyone to the S397 GT3 and DPI Multiclass series, hosted.
Hello everyone and welcome to the third round of the SimRacingOnline IMSA series. Today we are in Spain at the Montmeló circuit. We are going to be racing for 1.5 hours with the GT3 cars and DPI prototypes, the infamous Daytona prototype international cars based on the LMP2 spec vehicles. Great sunny day here at Montmeló will surely be a great way to start the third round. We're almost halfway into the season. We have seen some great racing in the last few races. We have raced at Sepang in the round 1 and then Mexico for round 2. And that, if you want to have a look at the previous races, just go check SimRacingOnline's YouTube channel. They have reposted every live stream there. And if you want to be part of the spectacle, join Eitharacingteam on Discord and join simracingonline.co.uk. They do a bunch of endurance racing and also some fun stuff on our Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa, so be sure to check them out. Qualifying is almost underway. As we know, the GT3 cars will go out first. There we have Barrett Eriksson, the previous champion from the S397 Endurance Series, defending champion, of course. He used to drive the BMW M6 in that series. Pretty good to see him race with a different kind of car here, Barrett Eriksson. He has confirmed his status as one of the most skilled drivers in the server, so we need to keep an eye on this guy because he has shown pace throughout the entire season, so it's going to be interesting to see how he behaves today. Switching to the DPI class, we see Johnny Guest, the winner from the previous round, a really untouchable performance in Mexico, driving the Acura, the blue and black Acura, sponsored by Konica Minolta here, the infamous IMSA livery. He is now the charge in the first sector, that's fastest sector in the session, and what a way for John Gutierrez to start. I mean, he was king of the castle of Mexico and is surely going to be trying to confirm that here in Spain. A little bit wide there in turn 10, but good line overall. The car looks pretty stable. Da Silva in P2 at the moment, so great performance from him as well. Couple seconds down on John Gutierrez though in the second sector, so Gilles will need to work on his lap time for sure. Ricardo Riva and Samir Arshad at the P3 and P4, currently in DPI class. Let's switch to Johnny Gutierrez in GT class, BMW driver, currently not improving. Maybe he's disturbed by the DPI in front of him. We know how sensitive these cars are to the draft and excessive turbulence, especially here in Spain. That's very important as we now go through the last chicane. This tricky chicane here is critical if you want to get a good lap time, because it's a slow corner, as we now see Johnny go back into the pist for probably a change of setup and new tires. Now, as I was saying, the final chicane needs to be done perfectly, otherwise the lap time would be not good enough, as we see Joe Brown here trying to take distance towards Didier Coelho, and the Bentley looking pretty good in Spain. It's we know it's a big car, you know, it's big engine car, but it's also very agile, and that was proved in the Mexico race, where the Bentleys were running very strong throughout the entire weekend. So it will be interesting to see how Joe Brown does this time around in Spain. As we now see John Villegas getting a little bit compromised by the Bentley here. Bentley obviously starting a hot lap right now. Leader in GT3 is currently Giuseppe Pastore, the Italian driver with the BMW. The Pastore boys, Giuseppe and Nicola, have been destroying lap records over the last few races. So I think it's going to be the case here as well, as we now see the Pastore boys, in fact, first and second in GT3. Johnny Gutierrez, we speak, has actually improved by a long shot, and he's now P2. He's put himself in the middle of the Pastore boys, as Giuseppe has just put an end to that.
Gutierrez is putting a name for himself, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. He has been the only real challenger for the Pastore boys in Mexico, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case here as well.
Yeah, we're missing Tony Talviti from what I see, but Gutierrez, I believe, is the man for that job. Absolutely, you can rely on.
Well, he's not one to back off from a challenge, so I am pretty sure that he's going to try his best here as well. Johnny Gutierrez showed incredible pace in Spain and in Mexico, so you know, he seems to be in a very good spot with the BMW. He has understood the car pretty good. The setup he has been doing are working good in both wet and dry conditions. So it's you know, let's see how it does.
Yeah, it looks like he's already on a well-focused lap, heading into turn 1, keeping that car on the inside because you have a next turn to it, but the next corner up ahead is a long sweeping corner, so you want to keep that car on the inside while also extending the track limit when you get out, while also keeping it on the white line, braking at the 50 board if there is a 50 board there. Looks like he goes a little bit wide, taking it down the inside, back on the outside, braking downhill, watching the back not to lose the back, second gear, staying out of those curbs. You touch the floor and it could slow you down, going uphill into the S corner, where you can make most of the time as you go uphill, touching the curb. Looks like you got some traffic behind him as you go to one of the fastest corners in this track, fourth gear, uses the curb, goes a little bit wide, but lost the speed on the exit. Still pretty looking good. I mean, he didn't improve. It looks like it's a his laps are very slow. Maybe he gave up. Yeah, he gave up. Ooh, doesn't see Pastore behind him. Realizes it at the end and ruins Pastore's lap. As well as Tal Parton, who was also caught in there. It's like unintentional slowing down of the car, as he probably haven't noticed the cars behind him. Go back on the DPI, sorry, almost said P1. John Villegas, a purple sector 2. Only 0018 on the first sector, almost identical. Very consistent lap from John Villegas. You'd love to see it. As he goes uphill, down into that chicane, where you gotta keep balance of the car. Keeps it steady. No funny business as he goes flat out into start-finish line. Will he improve on his time? Of course he does. A 1:33.4 puts him 1 second ahead of Ricardo Riva, who's in the pit to change his tires, as we know the rule of SimRacingOnline. Not of SimRacingOnline, but one of the rules that you could implement in races to not escape in the middle of the track, because it is equivalent to leaving the car. Thus, we see Ricardo in the pit changing probably his tires to go for one more shot. He still has less than 5 minutes, about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Silva crosses the start-finish line. Looks like it was a discovery lap as he goes for one more shot. We see Samir getting out of the pit right there. A yellow has been thrown in Sector 3. Interesting delivery by De Silva.
Yeah, very colorful livery, and looks pretty good on the Mazda as well.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you don't see liveries like these racing a lot of times. It's kind of a... I wouldn't call it
There
weird.
is a similar livery in real life IMSA though, and I think it's on a Cadillac. It's a bright yellow and orange livery. I'm not sure what the team was. I'm pretty sure they did get some good results in the last few races. I'm gonna check that instantly, actually.
Well, it surely sticks out from the crowd. I mean, bright yellow and orange on the top. You definitely can't miss this out, can you? It looks like Silva is slowing Rika, but Rika is on his outlap, so nothing to lose there. As Samir Arshad still yet to put a good lap, about 4.2 seconds away from the leader. He's trying to put a good lap. Looks like so far his laps are looking clean. It's just he hadn't had the chance to put a good lap, which is why we can see he's about 4 seconds behind John Vitiest. Gets a personal best on Sector 1. About 6/10 faster than his previous time as he goes up the hill to the fastest corner. I would call it mid-fast, but it's a very important corner. Ooh, that was interesting. I thought it would went wide, but apparently it was just a lag spike. Another personal best, 1.3 seconds faster than his personal best on Sector 2. So far, so good.
That's kind of interesting. Interesting time, for sure.
Absolutely, it is, Lorenzo. I mean, I think he hasn't yet to put a good lap, so this will be I mean, his target is a 1:33.3. I mean, John Vitiest improved once again.
Bit too much curb on the exit there at the chicane. Let's see how Samir is done. Looks like a pretty good effort.
Yeah, a 1:36 puts him in P3. Still about 3 seconds.
We know Sam has not been able to exploit the DPI fully in the last few races, although he has a good amount of experience with the GT cars. He does not have all those hours of driving and racing in prototypes, so that's a great challenge, and it was really great. It's going to be great to see him tackle this championship with a different type of class of cars. And we know DPIs are generate tremendous amount of downforce, but they're still tricky to drive. You know, they have a great amount of power, and it's a rear wheel drive car, so it's still not exactly a friendly vehicle, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, looks like the trick here is not the trick, but the essence is the mileage. Is from what we know, because Sam is the driver of our team, he has a lot of mileage on the GT cars, but not quite a lot on the prototypes cars in general. So this is a new challenge for him. Not an excuse, but absolutely a new challenge for him. But he's still got a lot to learn for sure. As we see Giuseppe throw it on the chicane, misses it, but he wasn't improving anyway, so he has nothing to worry about. But Nicola Pastore is on a new lap, Lorenzo. Will he be able to take it?
The Pastore boys have been on fire all season long. They have been easily the most, let's say, the surprise of the series. We saw them in Turkey in the S397 Endurance Series, as well as Fuji. and they won both times with a 1-2 finish. So
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, if
they're
you're talking
they're pretty
dominance,
good from what we saw.
yeah, you'd heavily have to put it with the Pastori names for sure. And if you can see this, Lorenzo Pastori is in his personal best first sector.
Yeah, he's improving. Although I think Gutierrez and Eriksson might be able to put up a challenge today. I think they're gonna be up there with them,
Yeah,
especially Gutierrez.
I would have to agree with that. Looks like Gutierrez missed his quali lap at the end, but Pastori is the guy to watch out for now, as he or Nicola, because when I say Pastori, there's another Pastori
Oh,
lady.
too much curb on the entry there.
Yeah.
The car was very bumpy.
He hugged that sausage, but maybe he didn't.
Nailed the last chicane. Well,
Looks
that
like
was a
he's
great
using it to his
exit.
advantage, that sausage. I think this is gonna be a good lap for Nicola. It's not enough though. 0.18, yes, that is correct. 186th of a second, just behind his brother Giuseppe. Wonderful job by the leaders, as Joe Brown is in a lap as well.
No, I think Joe Brown has aborted his last effort. I think maybe he didn't get a good exit from the first two corners, as it was pretty much cruising out of turn 3. So that's gonna be it for the qualifying, and it's a pole position for John Vidi Guest in DPI class. Ricardo Riva stands in second place. And we will now see the order of qualifying. John Villegas first, Riva and Arshad completing their first 2 rows, with Gil da Silva in P4. So good effort from Ricardo Riva as well in P2. We know he's been in trouble with the DPI as well in Mexico. Giuseppe Pastore in P1 for GT3. Nicola Pastore P2, Johnny Gutierrez with a great lap in P3, Joe Brown constantly in P4, Lewis Middleton with the BMW in P5, Barrett Eriksson, former champion, P6, P7 for Didier Coelho, great to see him in the top 7 again, Rob Milliken in P9, Tom Parton in P10 with the Bentley, P11 for Michael Lebel with the Audi R8, the sole Audi R8 entry for this championship. Ed Jones in P12 with that beautiful, fresh blue and white McLaren. And yeah, what a field we have, Nas.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Lorenzo. It's looking marvelous. I mean, the usual pretty much. Giuseppe in the lead. John Villegas put in a fantastic show. Ricardo Riva didn't get the job done in the qualifying, but still has a long race to watch out for. So nothing lost yet, as well as for Samir and Gilles de Silva. Only 4 cars today for the DPI, so shouldn't be a challenge for the prototypes cars, but the GT3 field is crowded. I mean, we got two Pastores, Gutierrez, Brown, Lewis Middleton, Barrett Eriksson, Didier Coelho, Peter Vlar, a new name I see today, Rob Milliken, Tom Parton, Michael Labelle, and Ed Jones as usual.
Great to see new names constantly joining the series. Shows that the championship is being held as it should be, with a great level of management. And if you want to be part of it, be sure to check SimRacingOnline.co.uk. They have a great amount of racing in pretty much all of the modern sim racing games. Not only our Factor 2, but also Assetto Corsa and Automobilista 2, for example. So yeah, and join Eitharacingteam on Discord and on Instagram and wherever you find it, pretty much, to be able to not miss anything from this amazing IMSA series.
I mean, if I speak personally, Lorenzo, I had great times in SimRacingOnline, and then they hit you with the mods and cars and tracks that you don't expect, but they turned out to be a lot of fun. I mean, I can all remember the Alpine Cup we had. That was beautiful.
Beautiful championship, yeah, and lots of people there for a series that was a GT4 level, pretty much. A great amount of racers all the time. So, SimRacingOnline offers a large, you know, how do I say it? A large screen of different categories and different racing, but the quality is there all the time.
Yes, so, very competitive guys as well. So
yeah.
It's not like you're gonna get in and be left behind. There's always someone at your level who you will be having a hard time fighting with. So it's not easy either for the leader or even for the last guy. You'll be finding him fighting with someone else in the same level. So it's very competitive, I would say.
Absolutely, and it shows the amount of GT cars that we have here.
As we pass the 1 minute mark for the warm-up, these cars are preparing to start, checking their setup. Samir Arshad heads out for a reassuring lap. And if I may heard correctly from one of our drivers, it may rain today, Lorenzo. But I'm not sure. I guess if it did, it'll be a surprise, but let's see, because it's already looking foggy.
It's very foggy, and I'm starting to believe that rain is gonna fall, because look at the sky. Doesn't really hint towards the sunny rays, does it?
Oh, absolutely. It's looking foggy. It's very cloudy. I mean, you can see the dark. The
dark,
track.
pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's getting dark. It's gonna be hard to see in the rain. But I hope that the other drivers practice the rain.
Yeah, and this will also affect the strategies tremendously, because you're gonna have now to pretty much reschedule every pit stop. And again, this shows how important practice is. If you put in the hours, then it's gonna pay off all the time, because you can calculate many scenarios and not only the ideal one. It's always better to prepare, not for the worst in all cases, but for you know, unexpected situations, let's say.
Yes, as the session is switched. Yeah.
Yeah, looks to be sunny. Looks sunny. Maybe the weather will change during the course of the race. It's a long race. So.
It might, but I'll be interested if it did. I'll keep it.
Look at that field.
Yeah. Ooh, very tense moments right now. The drivers are getting ready for the start. It's a formation lap.
DPI will lead the procedure.
Pretty much the prototypes, the race starts for both of the classes as soon as the leader crosses the start-finish line. It looks rainy to me, Lorenzo.
Yeah, the track is wet.
Wow.
Track is wet, but the condition is sunny, so track is probably gonna
improve.
Dry out towards the closing stages.
Wow, I mean, imagine if drivers see it as it's. I mean, I'm sure they have in their heads-up display to know if it's gonna rain or not. But imagine going out, because I've seen a driver getting back to the garage, probably put the dry tires. But actually, putting dry tires might not be a bad idea, because it's like you said, it's gonna dry out.
Yeah, it is gonna dry out if it stays sunny like this, and it's not gonna dry out in a long amount of time. It's gonna take a few laps for a dry line to appear, so that's gonna be the game changer here, especially for the GT class.
Indeed, as the Giuseppe are in a very intense situations. Both are fast. Both got similar pace, so pretty much track position in this case matters a lot. Because these guys are not keen to make mistakes. It's very rare for these guys to make any mistake. Therefore, track position matters a lot, as Johnny Gutierrez is also stalking behind them.
I'm surprised of how much distance Johnny Gutierrez has put between him and the Pastore guys. If I was Gutierrez, I would be hounding the
Yeah, I mean, he would be putting the pressure already by swarming those mirrors.
Yeah, and also we do know that this is not a dangerous first corner, so you can actually try a move there. And I think that's going to be a great chance for Gutierrez to try and put himself between the two Pastori guys, because then it's going to be, you know, tough to deal with in the strategy. We now
100%.
see Johnny Vidiguest line up for the final corner.
Yeah, it's
DPI
a double file,
class
if I remember.
bunching
Yes,
up.
it is.
Yeah, correct. Da Silva has to catch up. There we go. And we will be racing right.
I think they will cross it at any moment right now.
Now,
Yes.
yeah, we're racing, and John Vidiguest gets a great start. He's already clear of Ricardo Riva. Ricardo Riva actually having to protect himself from Silva on the inside. I think Silva is going to have the advantage. No, Ricardo Riva is able to hold it, but Samir Arshad, what a great start. He's now P2. Now, GT class is in the way. Giuseppe Pastore takes the lead with a brilliant start. Nicola right behind him. Johnny Gutierrez protecting the inside line with Middleton there putting his car on the outside and immediately trying to harass Johnny Gutierrez, the American driver, having to protect his mirrors from the other BMW. Great start for Barrett Eriksson as well. Right behind Joe Brown, the McLaren looks to be working fabulously in these mixed conditions. There we see Barrett Eriksson already having a look at the inside of Joe Brown. Too far back to make a move.
Ooh, looks like the field is changing quickly.
Yeah, the GT cars are very, very close to each other. Rob Milliken there having to protect himself from Tom Parr. Now Ricardo Riva is battling with Da Silva side by side into turn 10. Heavy braking.
Looks like they
here.
locked up a
Gil Da
little bit.
Silva, they touch, but Gil Da Silva was forced outside with the Mazda. A great racing already between the DPI class.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting sped up slowly but surely as Lewis Middleton is being followed and chased by Joe Brown right behind him, as well as Barrett Eriksson. So crowded.
Let's see what Da Silva is doing with Riva, because they were very, very close to each other. They're on the straightaway. John Vidiguest has a comfortable lead towards Arshad. The visibility looks pretty good. Da Silva trying to close up to Ricardo under braking. Look at oh, and Arshad goes wide.
Ooh,
That
he does
was
goes wide.
a
That's
penalty.
true.
That's going to be a penalty for track limits. Ricardo Riva is all over the look now. Da Silva a bit unstable in turn 2. That's going to cost him quite some time. That would have put him on the inside of Riva there for turn 4. Both of these cars braking very heavily indeed, and it's really amazing to see Silva being able to cope with the conditions, because that Mazda looks to be loose in the corners, but Riva is struggling probably with tire temperature because he's going wide every time.
Was Vidiguest's fastest lap time 1:44.5.
Yeah, this plays tremendously into John Vidiguest's hand, because Arshad is struggling to keep his pace and Ricardo Riva and Silva are battling. So
Silva gets a good exit right here.
Oh, it was Riva going slightly wide again, but he's
Takes
able
the
to
inside.
protect the inside. Silva takes the switch back and takes the
But
inside.
locks
Almost
a
takes
huge
Arshad
lock.
out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he I think he collected our shot as well. He will surely have front damage now.
Yeah, Shad seems to be fine though, but a huge lockup from Da Silva. That's gonna be a permanent flat spot, I would say.
Yeah, and also a white and black flag, because that was a pretty deep
Ricardo
dive.
Riva got a penalty for that.
Oh man, I think Ricardo Riva jumped the start though. Yeah, drive through. He jumped the start probably. Oh, that's gonna cost him the race pretty much.
Yeah, well, there's still the pit stop to play for, as Johnny Gutierrez is in P3, 6 seconds already behind Pastorius.
Astoria guys are lapping 2.5 seconds per lap
Yeah,
faster than anybody else on GT cars. That shows you how fast those boys are. And Lewis Middleton and Joe Brown, easily the most interesting battle going on right now in GT. And the BMW breaking the toe of the Bentley. He knows the Bentley has tremendous top speed. He now comes back on the racing line. The track looks to be dry already, so as I told you, only took a few laps. Lewis Middleton probably looking for the wet patches on the front straightaway to cool the tires. We know temperature is a critical factor here in Spain. Joe Brown now handing Lewis Middleton, and we see also the McLaren of Barrett Eriksson now joining the fight. And what a great battle this is. Da Silva also got a penalty. Oh, this is race critical for Riva as well, because that's gonna even things out. Gil Da Silva with a drive-through penalty, and he goes wide again. He probably has damage on the Mazda. Not sure what the problem is right now, but he is not serving the penalty right now. Gil Da Silva currently sitting in P3 and following Samir Arshad closely. DPI class is already spread out, as we now see Middleton and Joe Brown exchanging places. Now Joe Brown is probably struggling a little bit to keep the BMW behind now. He is probably exploited the top speed of the Bentley to get himself ahead of Lewis Middleton. Let's see what the BMW has to respond. Look at this for a battle. The BMW does not have the answer right now to the Bentley on the straightaway. The McLaren looks to be working pretty good on the braking. It's closing all the time on Middleton in the braking area, as now Didier Coelho is joining the fight in the Ferrari. So 4 cars, 4 different manufacturers: Bentley, BMW, McLaren and Ferrari. Now what a great scrap. As we now see, oh, and Middleton goes wide. Barrett Eriksson is already alongside him, and I think he's taking the place. Barrett Eriksson gets the place on Lewis Middleton. It's now Bentley, McLaren, Bentley, Ferrari. So great scrap, as we now see Barrett Eriksson is surely going to try and put pressure on Joe Brown for that 4th place. Fastest lap time by John Villegas, a cracking lap time. 1:44.551, the fastest lap in the DPI class and obviously in the race. Samir Arshad just a couple seconds down on John Villegas at the moment. His car is working pretty good. He's down on lap time though in every sector. Ricardo Riva pretty much matching Samir Arshad on pace, while Gil Da Silva is faster than these guys in the first sector, but is losing time in the last one. So it's a pretty even battle between the DPI boys. There we see Lewis Middleton already, again, trying to break the toe from the Ferrari. Look at Barrett Eriksson. The McLaren is struggling to slow down in the braking area. Barrett Eriksson goes wide. He's able to hold the car. That was an amazing save. Yeah, great scrap. And the McLaren was incredibly fast on the straight, and Barrett actually struggled to slow it down. He was able to hold the slide of the car in the first corners. We now see Didier Coelho making a move on the BMW. Middleton folding back through the field at this stage. The Ferrari now getting that P6. So great scrap from Joe Brown, Barrett Eriksson and Didier Coelho, fast drivers from the S397 Endurance Series. Didier Coelho looking pretty strong here in Spain today. He has been a little bit underwhelming in terms of performances in the last few races, but today the Ferrari looks to be working pretty good.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. It's always a good choice to have a Ferrari as a car. And in the GT class, I wouldn't say it's the fastest, but it's a very balanced, well stable car to have. but it looks like everybody is keen to pick the BMW as been the favorite car so far.
BMW being a very easy car to set up and a very stable meta car, I would say. It's pretty good in pretty much all the areas, whereas cars like the Bentley are better on top speed and a little bit less agile in corners. Michael Labelle, speaking of entries, is the only Audi R8 in the GT class, is now putting pressure on Ed Jones, showing that the Audi actually has a good performance compared to the dominating McLaren that we saw in the last few seasons.
Oh yeah, it looks like the Audi has been a favorite car for Michael Labelle. He picked this car in the last race. Ooh, as he slits the car.
Oh man, what a
wow,
save.
What a curse that I gave on Michael Labelle.
Yeah, but what a save. He was...
Yeah, he didn't touch the walls.
Was pointing to the wall, and Michael Labelle was able to hold the slide and limit the damage probably to a couple of flat spots on the tires. He's not gonna have to do it again from scratch though, because Ed Jones has disappeared into the distance. As we now see Rob Milliken, look at that for a battle. Rob Milliken on Lewis Middleton, one of the fastest cars on the track right now. Rob Milliken, what a battle these guys are showing us. And Lewis, I wonder what Lewis Middleton issue is. I think he's on wet tires.
He might be on wet tires, but if he
might be on wet tires because he has no pace whatsoever. Look at that.
Yeah, ooh, gets his inside, Rob Milliken.
Rob Milliken will surely have the advantage up the inside.
Yeah, it's a tire advantage. Ooh, gets the cutback, Lewis Middleton. Ooh, Rob Milliken is going wide. He might get a penalty for that.
Oh, man, I don't think he will, but he was able to hold the place. Great driving here from both of these drivers. I reckon Lewis Middleton should be pitting as soon as he can, because being on the wrong tire at this stage of the race is gonna cost you dearly afterwards. You need to pit now to avoid the cars getting away in the first stint.
Yeah, looks like the next target is Peter. He's probably gonna get the job done here.
Is that an Aston Martin?
He is, yeah.
So the Aston Martin now putting pressure on the BMW. Is he gonna try here? No.
Oh, he keep it safe.
I reckon he had the speed, but he wants to keep it secure, keep it clean. Good stuff from Peter Vlar, and he's surely now gonna have a go in turn 4.
Oh, indeed. Turn 4 is one of the best corners to get it past.
Yeah,
but
look at that. The Aston Martin already side.
But you have to put your car ahead, otherwise you will have a downside, because the next corner you will have the outside, which is an advantage for the car on the inside. As we can see, Lewis Middleton, gives up the position.
Peter Vlar, what a great move that was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great move. Lewis Middleton really not being able to match the performance of the dry tires, as we now see the track is completely dry, no wet line whatsoever. Tom Pardon in the Bentley now making up time towards Middleton. That's going to be a free place for everybody unless Middleton decides to do something about it. And there we see Barrett Eriksson in the McLaren still battling with Joe Brown for P4.
Yeah, looks like probably we might not have rain today, but overall the field is changing because looks like probably Lewis Middleton, as we know so far, is in the wet tires.
Yeah, he has to be, because his pace is worryingly low. He's not used to, he's not accustomed to this kind of performances. We know he's a very fast driver, so it's weird to see him perform this way. I'm pretty sure he's on wet tires.
Yeah, from the overlay, it says that he's on P, and it's different from everyone else who are on S, which I assume the P stands for the wet tires, but the S is for the
soft tires.
Yeah, the slick soft tires. So yeah, it looks like Middleton might have made a mistake. It's a best lap time sets by Ricardo Riva.
Yeah, that's actually interesting, because Ricardo Riva just put a 1:39.2. That's a personal best, because John Villegas just did a 38.8 best lap of the race so far. Although Ricardo Riva has the best partial time in sector 1 and 2. So see, these two guys battling with each other, although Ricardo Riva, he's miles behind everyone.
Yeah,
he
he's
probably made a
about,
mistake.
I mean, he's 21 seconds behind, or sorry, he's 6 seconds behind Samir, but Samir is 15 seconds behind John Vitiges. Looks like Johnny Vitiges is having a lonely race today.
I'm pretty sure he's happy about it because, as we say, boring is sometimes better if you wanna get a win. So John Vitiges is really enjoying his time right now in the Daytona International prototype. What a great shot this is on board with John Vitiges as he lines up for the final chicane behind the pretty much the top 6 cars in GT. That's Didier Cueto in the Ferrari. There we go. Look at the speed differential between these cars.
Yeah, what an excellent show by John Vitiges today.
Absolutely.
Staying clean, taking his sweet time, passing GT cars, putting on a great show today. I mean, if John gets the win, it's going to be a well-deserved win. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
He's about to pass Joe Brown. Look at this, he's taking his time, he's not even want to rush these guys.
Yeah, but this is gonna cost time for Barrett Eriksson. I think Barrett Eriksson was stuck behind with DPI, and Joe Brown has had he's now oh man, that was not tidy as it looked, and John Vitiges not being able to pass Joe Brown. So Barrett Eriksson being able to recover some of that time he lost during the lapping maneuver. John Vitiges really having to take avoiding action.
If I may add something, Lorenzo, Vitiges may be waiting too much behind. He's slightly taking much more time than he needs to when he's behind GT cars. Which luckily in this case he's 16 seconds ahead, so nothing to worry about. But it's slightly worrying.
Yeah, I think he's just making the most of his track position right now. It doesn't have any reason to push too much at this stage.
But you gotta know that Ricardo Riva is about now 3 seconds. He closed up almost 3 seconds on Samir Arshad. I mean, I'm sure Samir Arshad will make it easy for him to pass, even though the difference on the pace, but still 1 hour, and actually more than an hour for the race. Ooh, I think that's Peter that spun right there. Yeah, it was Peter that spun there, or maybe another Aston, I'm not sure. It's the only Aston we have today, isn't it, Lorenzo?
Yeah, he's the only Aston entry. Aston being one of the most used cars in the last season, not so much in this one, probably because of the M4.
Lewis Middleton finally decides to pit and put on the correct tires, which are the slick tires. And precisely, it'll be the softs because it makes no sense to go mediums on this track. We never know. Lewis Middleton might impress us with his strategy. He's still got an hour, 11 minutes to make something.
Yeah, it's a pretty early stop, but as we know, Middleton was on wet tires, so that was still late, if you ask me. But let's see how the strategy plays out for him. I reckon he's probably out of the top 5 contention, unless something extraordinary happens.
Yeah, but what else he can do? I mean, he was getting passed by almost everyone. It didn't matter what pace they had, because he was just... The car seems to be undrivable, so I think he had no better option but to pit. So, yeah. Now he can only hope that it turns out for his own good, but we still have 1 hour to decide for that. Zed Jones is having a little bit of a hard time today. 4 seconds behind Tom Parton.
Yeah, he's not been up to the pace that the McLaren is capable of. As we know, Barrett Eriksson is battling for P5, so the McLaren pretty much a front runner. And on below, Ed Jones probably not being able to find a suitable setup solution for himself. which is okay. I mean, McLaren is a tricky car to drive. It's a carbon monocoque chassis, so it's very stiff car. And we know that here at Montmello you need to rely on the curbs in pretty much more than a couple corners. So McLaren is not that easy to set up and to regulate for a race.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting a little bit forward in the car, so the back, you don't know what it's gonna do, and so it can be a little bit slidey because of the weight distribution of the car. But if it's in good hands with a good setup, it is a wonderful piece of a machine to drive in a race. So, yeah, like you said, Lorenzo, it's not a car to take out of the equation, of course.
Absolutely not. It's one of the top runners if you set it up properly. The thing is, being, as I said, a carbon monocoque is way stiffer than the usual aluminum chassis that most of the cars here have. For the Ferrari, for example, the 488 does have an aluminum chassis, while the Stan 20S GT3 has a modern, refined carbon monocoque chassis. We now see Samir shot under pressure from Riva. What a battle this is. The only battle in the DPI class currently. John Villegas, meanwhile, breaks the 38, the wall of 138.
Ooh, he used the curb there.
Just registered a...
That's not
smart.
Yeah,
a bit wide, but but didn't lose too much time. Ricardo Riva, the teammate of Samir Shad with the Eitharacingteam Acura DPI vehicle. John Villegas with a 137.9, so...
Yeah, he's smashing that lap record.
Yeah, cracking pace, fastest lap after fastest lap. As they now come
Samir hits the grass a little bit.
Yes, Samir does not want to lose any time behind the GT class whatsoever, as we now get a yellow flag in Sector 1. Not sure why that is, but Michael Labelle in the pits for a long time. Maybe something happened to him earlier.
Yeah, there you go. He's out. So 1 minute 48 in the pit. It's not.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, probably he was fixing damage.
Yeah. Great to see the DPI is pretty much matching pace here, and
ooh, Samir goes wide. This is the opportunity for
Riva says thank you very much, and that's a P2 for Ricardo Riva. Great battle between these two boys.
Another best lap at 37.0, Lorenzo. Did you look at that?
He's on it. He's on it.
Was the server gets a little bit funny.
Nicola Pastore there, that's the P2 in GT class.
Yeah, I think the issue, or not the issue, the obstacle that John Villegas had was the traffic. So pretty much turns out when he had clear traffic, he was smashing that lap record. At 37.0.
Almost 1 second faster than his previous
that is tremendously fast, Lorenzo. I mean, he's Sector 3, he did a 35.7. That is almost 2 seconds faster than what, for example, Ricardo did.
Yeah, that's completely on another planet.
I guess now we know that
John
why...
John Villegas really on a class of his own today.
Yeah, now that I understand why he's taking his sweet time, because he's absolutely sitting on a godly pace.
Yeah, and also it's interesting to see that Lewis Middleton's pace has not improved on the dry tires. He's now being lapped by the leaders in GT. So weird, what's happening to Lewis Middleton? I mean, he was expected to be one of the challengers for today, along with Gutierrez. I have no idea what the problem is today.
Yeah, he surely was, but it turns out today isn't his best days. I mean, his laps aren't too bad. He did a 148.8, but he's way behind. So because he's not, so you have to be at least half to 1 second faster than the guys ahead of you in order to make up some places. But I mean, if we look ahead, the rest of the field is also doing 48s and 49s. We're not speaking about the lead Pastores, which they are in the 46s. So, yeah, I mean, this is a challenging race for Lewis Middleton. It's not far yet, it's not done yet, but it sure is one of the hardest positions I've ever seen Lewis in. But let's see how this will pan out. As he's getting passed again by Nicola. I mean, he should give the position to Nicola as quickly as can, otherwise he might get a...
Yeah, he's on blue flags, but I don't think he's gonna make that easy for anyone, because he does not want to lose time, because he's trying to recover all those places.
But you don't want to risk a penalty, would you?
No, but the blue flags are pretty conservative here. You don't.
Yeah, look, he could have lifted here too. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, he does. He does. The blue flags are they last about 2 sectors before you get a penalty. So Lewis Hamilton did whatever he could to stretch that, and that's fair. I mean, look at that livery on the at that livery on the Bentley. I love that design.
It is. It is. It's almost like a neon livery, looking with the green, dark green into yellow into bright green. The blue accents. It's a unique livery, as John BD guessed. Shuts everyone down with a 136. 8.
He's on another class, man. He's on completely different class.
Absolutely unbeatable. As Silva is passing Ed Jones right there. Looks like they both had a bit acquainted there. They go up.
Ed Jones is not being able to exploit the McLaren fully. Which is a shame, considering the speed that Barrett Eriksson has shown all race long. Is again battling with Joe Brown for P5, so for P4, sorry. And I want to see Ed Jones compete a little bit more, and I want to see him challenge for the top 5 as well. I think he has he has what it takes. He just needs a little bit more time to set up the car.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his lines, looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're fine, they're very clean.
It's just the...
And also, he doesn't rely on the curb too much, which is a good thing on the McLaren, as I was saying earlier.
Of course, yeah. Looks like there's the many things.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Yeah, not the yellow flag. That yellow flag lasts for a long time. It's Peter Vlaar. His first show up, I believe, in this. Yeah, he is. It is his first show up.
Yeah, he's the rookie. Good showing. I mean.
Yeah, P7 so far.
Top 7. Yeah, great job by Peter Vlaar. And without the mistake he made earlier in the first corner, he would have probably be John with Rob Milliken right now battling for P6. So I'm pretty sure he's on the right path. We know the Aston Martin isn't the strongest car in their Factor 2, but. He's now catching Milliken.
Yeah, he's matching his lap times as well, so his consistency
Rob Milliken
seems to be better.
has a tremendous amount of experience, so that tells you a lot about Peter Vlaar.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We love to see new guys here, as we get to see new talent, new drivers, get acquainted by these new drivers. So Peter Vlaar is putting a good show today as well. P7.
Yeah, rookie of the race.
Yeah. Imagine if there was a voting
that
system.
Line through the final corner. That was a clean line. That was great.
Yeah, his consistency is it's pretty impressive, actually.
Now he's catching Milliken. He's catching Milliken by the eye.
He's, like I said, he's matching his lap times almost identical. So it's gonna be a matter of times before he gets in front of, or close to Rob Milliken to possibly get in front of him, as the Silva is in the pits right now. Barrett Eriksson is having quite a battle with Joe Brown. It's a battle for P8. Sorry, it's a battle for P4. Looks like the GID had me there. It's about less than a second behind Joe Brown. Lap times.
Barrett Eriksson is the kind of driver who lurks behind you for 1.5 hours, and then at the last moment, in that corner, in a corner where you don't expect him to make a move, he makes a move and he makes it stick. So Barrett Eriksson really wanted to what I wouldn't want to be in Joe Brown's car right now with the McLaren all over your rearview mirrors, because that's a dangerous sight. When you see Barrett Eriksson so close, that's a dangerous sight.
When it comes to applying pressure, Barrett Eriksson is very familiar with doing so, as he keeps his consistency so good that it starts playing with your mind. That's why this guy cannot make a mistake, you know? And then it mentally goes into your head, and it can, if you're not well prepared mentally, it can be a side effect or a disadvantage on your driving. But so far he's keeping it under that 1 second behind Joe Brown. It's actually Joe Brown has a better fast lap times, but like I said, with the pressure that Barrett Eriksson he can get you out of your comfort zone, I would say, as he's still in that chase of P4. Valuable points in this championship. Another lonely driver of this race is Johnny Gutierrez. No challenge from the front, but also not enough pace to challenge the guys ahead, so pretty much a lonely race for Johnny Gutierrez. A solid podium for today, perhaps. It's always good to see Gutierrez in the race, shaking up the field a little bit.
Johnny Gutierrez in a zone of his own right now, because he's too far back to challenge the Pastore boys, but he's too fast to be challenged by anybody else.
Yeah,
so,
what a weird situation.
Well-deserved P3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's a weird situation to be in, as the Silva has to make up some places of the GT class. Actually, he's behind the Pastore guys.
Yeah, he pitted a couple times for damage and for a drive-through penalty, just as Ricardo Riva at the start.
Yeah,
I think they both jumped the green light procedure.
Probably.
I'm starting to think that it's a game error, because every race somebody gets a drive-through at the start, and that's kind of suspicious, because I'm pretty sure all these drivers are very much cautious at the start.
It could be a track problem, but a small problem that it's so rare that Ricardo put himself into.
Yeah, it's the first time that Ricardo gets a drive-through penalty at the start. He only got a stop-and-go penalty, I think in... was it Mexico? Or maybe it was another series, but...
it was Mexico. Mexico was the tracks that I saw plenty of drive-throughs.
Yeah, plenty of drive-through penalties, yeah.
There's plenty of it right there. As John VD Guest has done actually a 135.
Nah, it's crazy. It's just completely humiliating everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he's getting these lap times from, but each lap, each minute, it's getting better and better for John VD Guest. I mean, he pretty much doesn't even have to do this. He's all about 38 seconds ahead of Ricardo, but he's surely putting a name for himself. This is going to be some valuable points for VD Guest.
Absolutely, this is going to be a big win. He will put one hand on the trophy, because we are and it goes slightly wide. I should probably
he's pushing for a
before jinxing him, but he has one hand. If he keeps this pace, he has one hand on the championship, because we're halfway through the season, and at the moment he has won 2 out of the last 3 races. So you know, it's pretty amazing to see him produce this kind of performances when he's pretty much on his own.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Renzo.
Look at the speed he carries through turn 4. That's some qualifying kind of pace.
Yeah, he's every lap.
Yeah, he's online. Look at that.
Yeah, every lap from John. It's like a qualifying lap. Unless he's behind traffic, then he takes his sweet time, because he knows he got what it takes to get all that time lost behind the GT class. I mean, if he was chased or chasing someone, it wouldn't be the smartest thing to do, to take your sweet time. But in this particular case, It is absolutely more fun. It is actually advisable to be safe than sorry. It looks like he heard us and kind of rushed that GT car.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on an effort to take the lap even further down the time charts.
Maybe he was looking for a clear track to get a better lap. Probably. He was passing Johnny Gutierrez right there.
Da Silva pitted again, so I'm not sure what's happening to him. He's pretty much off the pace from the rest of the DPI. I'm pretty sure we said this in the first race. I think Gil da Silva should probably focus on GT class a little bit more, because he's, in my point of view, still not experienced enough to drive the prototypes as they should be. We know many experienced boys here, such as Samir or even Barrett Eriksson, even Johnny Gutierrez, which did the first race on DPI and then switched back to the GT class. They have chosen the GT to get more experience on the track, as we regret to inform you that both Michael Labelle and Didier Coedo have retired. Didier Coedo was running P7. That's a great shame. The Ferrari was actually battling with Rob Milliken, Barrett Eriksson and Joe Brown. Such a shame to see Didier retire early in the race. We're not even halfway through, so
yeah, Michael
such a shame.
Well, he left.
Great shame. I was hoping the Ferrari could put it on a show today, but turns out that's not going to be the case.
Well, that can only be good news for Lewis Middleton.
Absolutely, that's one position gained.
As he's sitting now in E10, so he made it to the top 10. Of course, it's not a bad position to be in, but
yeah, but he has to recover a lot of track position towards Ed Jones. Ed Jones is in the second sector as we speak, as we now see. Oh, that was Tom Pardon making a trip to the gravel trap. Ed Jones all over him now. McLaren will surely have a look at the inside here.
Ed Jones is all over Tom Pardon. This is not good news for Tom.
Yeah, the Bentley was able to cover himself during the straight. I think Tom Pardon may have a problem. He's now twice. He's been out of the track limits on the outside, so Bentley probably not working 100% well. The McLaren looks to be more stable. Ed Jones is very cautious with that car. Let's see how it is rivals. Barrett Eriksson is very close to Brown. I mean, he has been all the race. I wonder what the strategy will be for these guys. McLaren of Barrett Eriksson really looking manicious in the rearview mirror of the beautiful green Bentley. John Villegas with yet another best lap time with a 35.58. That's a cracking lap. Considering the qualifying pace that these guys had, that's a worryingly fast lap for a race. Considering the amount of fuel and tire wear that the DPI will be suffering from, that's a crazy lap time. Giuseppe Pastore, meanwhile, has been pretty much unbothered throughout the entire race. Is now coming up to lap Ed Jones, so that tells you a lot about Giuseppe's pace. Is currently almost faster than the DPI, and he comes into the pits. So critical moment for Giuseppe's race. He comes into the pits almost halfway through the race. I think his strategy is spot on, although Nicola will be trying to gain some time now for the overcut. Let's see where Giuseppe emerges, because that's going to be interesting for Johnny Gutierrez as well. I wonder if Johnny will pit as well. He's now lapping Lewis Middleton, which race is not going to look easier from now on, that's for sure. Yeah, Lewis Middleton makes space for Johnny Gutierrez to go by. Johnny Gutierrez extends his stint, so he's not pitting yet. Pastore is out already. Not quite though. No, he's still in the pit lane. Johnny Gutierrez completes another lap right now, gets past Giuseppe. So he's past Giuseppe. Let's see what Nicola does as well. Nicola now in the second sector. Running up the backstretch. Heavy braking into turn 10. Now for the fast left-hander, and immediately you have to put the car back towards the right. Like this, this corner looks endless. Lean heavily on the outside. Launch the car on the right-hander. Braking into the last chicane. Probably a bit too much curb for Nicola, but he now comes into the pits for his scheduled stop. Joe Brown has been able to withstand the pressure from Barrett Eriksson right now. Barrett Eriksson has fallen back just a tiny bit last few laps. There we see Peter Vlar in the grey Aston Martin putting pressure on Rob Milliken. We told you Vlar was gaining, and he has been gaining steadily on Robert. So let's see this battle as well, because the Aston Martin is not a car that we expected to be fast on race pace. We know the potential that the car has on qualifying pace, but on race pace the Aston Martin looks to have some disadvantages towards the BMW M4. But there we have an exception, Peter Vlar closing up on Rob Milliken, and that's going to be for P5, I believe. P6, sorry. Giuseppe Pastore regains lead. Nicola is yet to come out of the pits. Gutierrez is also yet to pit at all, so that's a virtual lead change. And Pastore has been overtaken by Brown as well. Not sure what the strategy was here. Probably had some kind of damage. That's a very long pit stop from the number 05 BMW. Yeah, as we get a yellow flag in sector 2. Not sure what that's about, but yeah, it's surely not gonna be. Yeah, there we see Nicola Pastore has overtaken Joe Brown for P2. So the BMW did fall back to the P3 spot in GT class, but probably pace advantage and fresher tire made the move stick. So Nicola regaining P2, although he's farther back than towards his brother Giuseppe in P1. So the strategy did not work good enough for Nicola. The undercut was the way to go, looks like. Nothing has changed for Barrett Eriksson though. He's still harassing Joe Brown's Bentley for P5 and P4. Gutierrez still yet to pit. I'm not sure what the strategy will be for the American driver, as we get another yellow in Sector 1. Oh, that's Giuseppe Pastore. Giuseppe Pastore is stopped on the track. What happened? The race leader has stopped in the middle of the first corner. Drama in Spain. Pastore falling back. Look at that. He retired. That's gonna be a DNF for Giuseppe Pastore. Cracking stuff. Incredible. Nicola Pastore inherits the virtual lead. What a shame. Giuseppe Pastore, he was leading through the entirety of the race. Nicola Pastore is now gonna have to protect the lead. Giuseppe Pastore incredibly leaves the race. Maybe a technical problem on the BMW, because it was completely stationary there. Yeah, we have now confirmation of the problem. Giuseppe Pastore retired with engine issue on the straightaway. Incredible stuff. Nicola Pastore now catching back towards Gutierrez. Gutierrez is still yet to pit. We know that Nicola has a pace advantage, but it's interesting to see what the strategy will be for these guys. Johnny Gutierrez now lapping in the 46s. Last lap for Nicola was a 43. So amazing to see the pace difference between the two, but Johnny Gutierrez has track position. We know he's yet to pit, but he's gonna put more than pressure on Nicola. Johnny Gutierrez lapping, as I said, in the 46 is now the fastest car, apart from Nicola Pastore himself. So Gutierrez is just trying to bug Nicola at this stage, because he has a pace advantage over Joe Brown, Barrett Eriksson, and all the other guys. For those of you joining now, we have lost the leader in GT class, Giuseppe Pastore, retiring with engine failure on the straightaway. Weird issue that caused the BMW to slow down abruptly after the turn 1. Incredibly difficult scenario for the BMWs today. Giuseppe Pastore being heartbroken after that problem. Of course, mechanical issues are very much present in the GT field, as we know that both Pastore, Coelho, and Michael Labelle, the Audi R8, retired before the halfway mark. So Barcelona proves to be a tough track for all kind of cars. Now Gutierrez is still leading in GT class. We know he has to pit, but so virtually it's Nicola Pastore inheriting the lead from his brother Giuseppe. Joe Brown in virtually P2. Eriksson might be up for a great result in case Gutierrez messes up the strategy. Still many scenarios to be possible here. Nothing is said and done.
So it's a temporary lead for Johnny Gutierrez. He's leading right now, but I'm sure once he pits, position will be taken again by Nicola and Joe Brown. An unfortunate DNF for Giuseppe Pastore. Some things you don't like to see, but it is good news for the rest of the drivers, because it turns out now that Barrett Eriksson and Joe Brown are fighting now for the P3. Like Lorenzo said, hopefully Johnny Gutierrez gets his pits right.
Yeah, I wonder why he's not pitting now, because he's losing time.
Yeah, I almost double checked to see if he did pit or not.
Yeah, last few laps it was pretty much even with Joe Brown and Barrett Eriksson. So I reckon it would be worth pitting now.
Yeah, I mean Pastore behind him pitted, so yeah, it seems like but Brown and Eriksson and Milliken and the rest of the field behind, most of them haven't pitted yet, so I think he's keeping in mind there, as we see Ricardo Riva going wide there. He's keeping in mind that other cars behind him hadn't pitted yet, but how would you know for sure unless he's running a telemetry next to him? It's like he's holding Rica a little bit, but taking his usual racing line as Ricardo Riva takes the inside. Johnny Gutierrez dives. This is a battle between different class, but it's just Ricardo trying to make his way up in the GT field. As the John VD guest, 62 seconds ahead of Ricardo Riva. A whole minute. And if he gets even better, he might also lap the guy who's actually behind him, one position behind him, which is Ricardo Riva. And I mean, if this is not dominance, I don't know what dominance is anymore. Astonishing performance by VD Guest as he goes into long corner, going downhill again, trying to keep that car steady and clean, watching over those tires while also setting best lap times. That's the way to do it. Ricardo Riva is falling back. He's not falling that hard, but he's surely falling. I mean, his best is close to John VD Guest, but his last lap was almost 4 seconds slow, so I think most of it was because when he was trying to get the position on or lapping Johnny Gutierrez, that cost him that 4 seconds. But overall, a solid P2 for Ricardo Riva will be very good points for him in terms of the championship. Because so far he's also 17. Oh, I'm sorry, he's 9. That's Samir that is 69 seconds behind John VD Guest, but he's only 9 seconds behind his teammate Ricardo Riva. A podium for Samir as well if the position stays as they are. So absolutely not a bad place to be for Samir. He's also 10 seconds behind his teammate. So he's still in the contention for a possible P2. But if you see Gilles de Silva behind Samir, he's actually trying to unlap himself. He's one lap down as he goes wide. He's done that mistake a couple of times. I mean, I don't know if it's too late, but maybe it's good for Gilles to recess and think what it's most suitable for him to drive and be comfortable and actually learn, because prototypes can be very challenging. I mean, they're easy to drive if you just want to put laps on your own, but when it comes to competitive field, being good is a requirement in terms of consistency, lap times, tire management, track awareness, and so on. And also, the consistency is the biggest issue I think I've seen with the Silva, but a solid P4 nonetheless for Silva if the position stays as they are, as Ricardo Riva decides once again to shoot for the best lap so far in this race of 135.3. He closed the gap on John by... I mean, all those 4 seconds he lost behind Johnny Gutierrez was able to get them back. But I'm not sure if he has enough time to get back into the fight with John Villegas, because they're pretty much running the same pace. So yeah, this will be interesting to see what's going to happen at the end, as Nicola Pastore was able to pass Johnny Gutierrez. And most of that goes to the fact that Johnny Gutierrez is still yet to pit, if you can see in the telemetry. So not sure what's the strategy that Johnny is playing, but so far it's... I mean, he's close to Pastore, but about 3 seconds now and is still losing. And the guy behind him is Joe Brown, about 30 seconds behind. Joe Brown did not pit yet, so if Joe pits now, he could be close to Johnny Gutierrez. So also Joe Brown will start thinking about pitting, because half an hour now left the race as John Villegas makes his way alongside Joe Brown, and ooh, goes wide. Almost lost the car. Hopefully he doesn't get a cut for that. A little bit aggressive from John Villegas, but managed to keep it safe. I mean, when you're a minute ahead of someone, the last thing you can do is smash your car and ruin your race completely, but a small mistake like that shouldn't be a problem when you're almost a minute ahead of the guy behind you. Barrett Eriksson looks like he gave up on the fight with Joe Brown, but he's recovering on it. Last lap was a 49.3, but his best lap is as close as it gets to Joe Brown, so it's might be steady here. There's also one of the guys running the McLaren. Barrett Eriksson seems to be switching between cars, but I think he's trying to get a feel of every car. Maybe he thinks this car is most suited for this track. But for sure, a great performance from Barrett Eriksson today. He's in P4 right now, 11 seconds ahead of Rob Milliken. It's looking quite good as Amir Arshad gets a penalty. Once again, a drive-through as he clears it right away. Thankfully, it was at the end. I believe it was because of the chicane, but it looks like it didn't hurt him that much. He's about 115 seconds ahead of Gilles de Silva, so nothing hurt. If anything, the hopes to get a P2 is now probably gone. Villegas another personal best at 31.5. I mean, how good is it gonna get? As Samir goes a little wide there. Yeah, lap times it's getting better and better every lap. John Villegas is on a mission. I mean, I'm sure he's running low fuel right now, so he's as weightless as a feather, I would say. A metaphor, if you wanna say, but yeah, let's see how Ricardo is gonna respond to that. The best lap was a 35.3. I mean, getting best laps isn't a requirement, and it's not also doesn't give you any points. extra points, but it's just it gives the image of dominance and the pure performance to the guys you're racing against, because when they see that lap times, they know for sure that he was able. He's a fast driver, first of all. That they're sure of it. So it all comes down to consistency and who can keep doing that exact lap times over and over and over, or at least close to it, or keep it consistent. Just pretty much in the word, the consistency of keeping lap times as close as they can get, as Joe Brown goes up the hill, sorry. I mean, he's not safe from Barrett Eriksson, but so far he's keeping it in the 4 seconds, if not even more, because it was 3.8, now it's going up to the 4 seconds, so he's doing a good job of keeping Barrett Eriksson behind him. But if we go down the field to Rob Milliken, 11 seconds also behind, so Barrett Eriksson has a mission now to get as close, or stay as close as he can to Joe Brown, while also try to keep Rob Milliken in the clear, because he's about 14 seconds now. Or Rob Milliken's 14 seconds now, up to 15 behind Barrett Eriksson. Lap time wise, Barrett Eriksson is in the upper hand, about half a second faster in the last lap. So he's for surely taking the upper hand of getting that gap, or building a gap ahead of Rob Milliken. Tom Pardon in his beautiful livery, about to cross the start-finish line. Did not pit yet. Looks like nobody pitted beside the Pastori guy. I keep calling Pastori guy because there's two, so he's a Nicola Pastori, to be precise, not a Pastori guy. Besides him, nobody had pitted yet, so I'm not sure the strategy here. Didn't know that the tires can last this long, but it would be smart to pit right now because they're crossing crossing the 30-minute mark. So I'm not sure what's the strategy here of staying out. Maybe the tires are still fine, because the lap times had been the same. I mean, 49s and 48s is what we've seen so far from these drivers. So I'm not sure what the idea here they're going with. You see Peter Vlaar, one of the new faces here in today's race, are in a gray, beautiful Aston Martin. He's sitting in a P8 right now. Looks like he lost the position. He was P7 before, lost it to Ed Jones. Quite sure how that happened, but himself as well is choosing not to pit. Looks like we're gonna have, if we get the chance to interview one of the drivers, we might ask about this, because it's quite interesting to see what's going on, because somebody watching it is not the same as someone behind the wheel, so you can never know for sure unless you're in communication with the drivers as to what's going on. Therefore, if we get a chance to interview, we might ask about this, if I don't forget, that is for sure, to see the strategy they took to not pit and stay out as long as they can, because the Pastori, or Nicola, because we have only one Pastori now, pitted, and now he's ahead of Gutierrez, and by a long shot, he's 13 seconds ahead of Gutierrez. So I'm not sure if the other drivers are seeing this, but if they have a manager or an engineer running with them, they could point this out, that, I mean, Pastori, yes, is fast, but Johnny isn't slow, for sure. The last laps is only like a second difference, but he's 13 seconds ahead of Johnny Gutierrez, and he pitted. And when you pit, we all know that it could be in the 30s to 40 seconds, and he was able to gain that time, pass him again, and being 15 seconds ahead of Johnny Gutierrez. So, yeah, quite interesting. Never seen something like this. Maybe these guys are just too good at managing their tires. As Lewis Middleton hugs that sausage right there. Looks like he's having an issue with the back of the car from that chicane, but overall it's stable. A little bit of lag spikes here and there, but not as bad as the as Mexico, if I remember. It's getting better and better. We see, I believe, the Silva behind making a... Ooh. Oh, he was being unlapped by Samir Arshad. So I thought they were battling, but it looks like the Silva was being passed by Samir Arshad and didn't want to hold him up. So decided to just give him the position right away. Good sportsmanship by the Silva right there. Loving his livery though. Very bright. Samir Arshad is passing Lewis Middleton now. Going up into the S corner. Nothing interesting happening in the prototype class. John Vitiges extended his gap to 7 seconds now. So 67 seconds ahead of Ricardo Riva. With only 24 minutes to go. With this, he's just taking the car home pretty much. Trying to keep it out of trouble. And yes, right now, taking your sweet time behind traffics is a must-do. It's very advisable because you're just selling the car home. He made his pit stops. All the prototype's car made their pit stops. But the GT cars are the most interesting. Besides Middleton and Vlar, none of the cars had pitted yet. As Jean Vitiges crosses a new best lap, 34.9. My God. Vitiges is not holding back at all. Absolutely not trying to hide his lap times at all. At 35.9. Surely good. I mean, I understand it's running low fuel now. But it is for sure a wonderful lap by Vitiges, extending the gap even more to 68 seconds to Ricardo Riva. His last lap was a 38.0, so yeah, probably because of traffic as he's trying to make his way. Ooh, Peter gets chucked into the floor right there. Yeah, so I think Ricardo Riva also needs to follow the same strategy John is doing and take his sweet time and just taming that tire. Also trying to stay out of trouble. The last thing you want is a DNF or a crash. So just keep the car safe, watch over your revs. Take your time when you're behind the slower class. And it should be a confirmed P2 for Ricardo Riva. Assuming the positions will stay as they are right now. And so far it looks like they're not going to change anytime soon. We hit back. It looks like it's raining, but I'm not sure yet. It is raining for sure. I mean, probably this is why...
Yeah, it has restarted to rain. I was just checking that with a couple drivers. It has been raining for the last 3 minutes now, and now it's picking up on the tires, on the track surface. This is gonna mix up everything. Middleton is already pitting.
I mean, I can see the wisdom now of why not people or drivers were not pitting yet. So it is because they knew for a fact, because the weather is always given before the race, so everyone knows what's gonna happen. I have checked that. No Lorenzo, so it looks like they know beforehand that it was gonna rain, which is why everyone was taking his sweet time, taming their tires. Yeah, interesting stuff, Lorenzo. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, this is gonna cause a major mix-up in the charts. I reckon Middleton made the right move to pit instantly because it was, you know, behind everyone anyway, so nothing there to lose.
Yeah, but I mean, we know that when it rains, it doesn't become undrivable, nor it makes your car that slow, so but it gradually keeps raining and pouring until it literally you start...
there's a front runner pitting, Joe Brown from P4, and John Vidy-Guest. John Vidy-Guest has pitted as well.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, he pitted, and Ricciardo is now ahead of him by 19 seconds, so across the 20-minute mark, maybe Ricciardo will follow up as well. He will choose not to, because his last hope now is to keep it here, but I'm not sure how much rate the rain will stay on.
It depends on how much time. I reckon John Vidy-Guest will catch him up in the space of 1 or 2 laps. I think Ricciardo has to pit.
It looks like it. I mean, De Silva is in the pit. Vidy-Guest is running on wet tires. They're not as fast as you might think, so if anything, this is an advantage for Ricciardo because the track, it doesn't look fully wet because we still, as you can see, the spray is still not visible, so it's still pretty dry. It is raining, but it's dry for sure. So, I mean, yeah, it's staying at 19 seconds. It's going down. There's a couple corners where they will struggle, as we can see spray starting to show up. But at some point, Ricciardo might have to pit.
Interesting stuff, because Ricardo Riva is a terrific driver when it comes to tire management. So it's really, I mean, 18 minutes left. How many laps is that going to be? Probably 9 or 10 laps. Yellow flag in sector 1 as we speak. Barrett Eriksson also pitting. He was P3 in the GT class. Look at Rob Milliken in P4. That's an amazing show. It is now P3.
Yeah, but
because Eriksson is in the pit
yet, Lorenzo, so that's why he is in the pit right
now.
He
pitted now. He pitted now. Yeah.
What I'm worried about, but slightly worried, is that Nicola Pastori, because he already pitted once. He was ahead by about 12 seconds, but now he also chose not to pit, and Gutierrez did pit this time. He is running, if I believe, wet tires. That is correct, he is on the wet tires, but wait a minute, Pastori is on the wet tires already. I mean, interesting.
I'm more interested in Ricardo Riva versus John Vidy-Guest, because that's the battle for the lead overall. And Vidy-Guest is now still about 18 seconds behind Ricardo Riva.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Lorenzo. But Vidy-Guest is catching up quickly. I mean, he's 16. It's going up sometimes because the wet tires can't hold the same grip as the slick tires, but overall, the wet...
Is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough for John Vidy-Guest?
I mean, he needs to shove at least a second a lap, and then he needs to worry about passing him. But there's also something to keep in mind, which is the rain, and how much the percentage of the rain is it going to be. If it looks so far, it's still raining, so it's not stopping, but it's not raining that hard for... Goes wide a little bit, not as smart.
Yeah, Ricardo is struggling.
Ricardo is also suffering.
Ricardo is struggling, yeah. It's a tough situation. I understand Ricardo's will to not pit. He's the only DPI who did not pit, so probably the team chose to diverse the strategy between Sam and Ricardo. So let's see. I mean, if Ricardo can keep the gap to a reasonable ratio towards John Vidy-Guest, this is gonna pay off. The gap is now down to about 15 seconds. So let's keep an eye on these guys.
Yeah, it's the gap isn't it like it's not going down massively, but as we can see now, it's going massively as I quickly get proven wrong.
Yeah, but that because John was on the straight. I think that's why.
Yeah.
See, it's coming up now again. It's decreasing, but
It's steadily decreasing.
let's see.
So the yellow was almost thrown, or was thrown, and then cleared right away. But I understand, like you said, Lorenzo, I understand the point of view of Rika. This is his last car to play, because if he bids, it's race over. It's not race over, but any chance of getting the win is gone in vain. And forever.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much. Although John Gutierrez is picking up the pace now, his gap is down to 10 seconds and decreasing fast.
Yes.
Not sure whether 14 minutes. It all depends on how much rain comes down on the track. Should it stop raining now, Ricardo will have the advantage, but it's still raining, as you can see.
Yeah, the wipers are still going on, so it doesn't look like the rain is stopping anytime soon. But if Ricardo, I don't know how this is gonna be possible, but if Ricardo can hold BD Guest, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be hard though. It's gonna be impossible. Just with the wet
The gap
tires.
is almost half what it was at the beginning of the lap.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I think it's when it's rained too much with the slicks, it's just undrivable. So yeah, especially imagine fighting as well. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Well, we'll see. Another yellow in sector 2. Luckily, we don't have a safety car, so nothing to worry about from Ricardo. Besides holding VDS when he gets behind him eventually. Yeah, this is the battle for the lead.
Yeah, look at that. That's Ricardo. That's Ricardo there in the distance.
Ooh, Ricardo
he's
goes
off.
wide.
Ricardo is off.
Well, managed to get back on track,
Oh
but
man.
yeah.
Yeah, but John Villegas is all over in loop.
I mean, what else he can do, Ricardo? It's
Oh,
look, it's
Ricardo is
undrivable.
going off again.
Yeah, Villegas gets the
That's race over, I think, for Ricardo in terms of fighting for P1. John Villegas is gonna disappear into the distance now. Should it stop raining, then Ricardo's strategy would have paid off, but I don't see the rain stopping anytime soon. It's 12 minutes left into the race.
Yeah, and if he bid it, that's it. I mean, let's see what he's gonna choose to do. If it was gonna stop, probably people.
Looking up,
steer the car.
The car is not steering at all, so the track is probably soaking wet right now. So I think it might be worth pitting for the wet tires now.
I mean, I'm not sure if Sam pitted.
Yeah, Sam did pit, yeah.
Well, then if he did, I mean, Ricardo might actually pit because he's actually putting that P2 in compromise now. Yeah, Samir did pit it indeed. Oh,
Arriva in the pits. Ricardo is in the pits.
I mean, of course, he would be, and he should be.
Yeah, he had to pit.
Yeah.
I mean, he tried. You cannot hate on the man. He tried his best.
Yeah, of course, nothing but respect for the guy. I mean, he tried his last car, the Joker car, should I say. Not sure if it was a Joker, but yeah, a good effort by but VD Guest, man. Nothing is stopping this guy this race. He's just on another level this race. Excellent show, excellent driving, strategy, just on time. And look at the track, it is shiny, it is already soaking wet, like you said, Lorenzo. So yeah, those slick tires would have not stood a chance. If anything, it would be undrivable. Like, you would be passed by GT cars almost. So, stuff by John VD Guest. Well-deserved win today. Take you on board to see if the wipers are still working, and indeed it is. And for the rain, it is still raining. What an interesting race. Samir Rashad, because of that pit stop, was able to close the gap. He's now about 12 seconds. Coming down to 9 seconds. Ooh, that's because Ricardo... Oh my god! He's gonna jeopardize his P2.
Yeah, he's jumped into the wall. He has to be careful on the rejoin.
Yeah, he took his time.
Archer is ahead. Oh man.
Yeah,
Does he have damage? I think he has damage.
He has that. He will be lapped now by John Vitigas. I mean, didn't I tell you this, Lorenzo? I saw this coming all the way. Him not like getting familiarized with the rain as it's gradually getting up and just taking whiffs and going out at it. It's just not a... oh my god!
Oh, and again! He has damage for sure. At the rear, probably.
He might have kept his rear tires just slicks because it looks like... But even if you have damage, it's not a corner where you would lose it like that, just like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty weird way of losing. The car just snapped.
Yeah.
Snapped under braking. That's a weird behavior.
He has to drive slowly right now. It's the 9 minutes mark. We're about to cross it. Less than 4 seconds actually. Wow, look at this
and again.
I mean, imagine what's going on through his mind right now. Would be absolutely.
This is gonna be
furious.
so frustrating.
Look like he stole the car. Yeah, he did stole the car.
Oh no, he managed to keep it running, but he's gonna risk it again. I don't know which. Something must have happened during the pit stop because the car is just oversteering weirdly into the braking area.
If I was Barrett Eriksson, I would be extremely careful because neither of us don't know what's gonna happen. Oh god, don't spin again. Oh no.
Oh man.
Oh, Barrett Eriksson is in a very dangerous position. Because he's P3
Ricardo
right now.
Ooh,
there goes the
again.
spin. Oh my god. So scared for Barrett Eriksson.
Look at the track, man. It's soaking wet. It's raining pretty hard now.
Yes, it is. Wow. I mean, if the Silva was slightly behind now, he would have also got the P3. But, oh my god, how can you, drive?
Oh, and almost into the wall.
Oh my god, this is dangerous. Ooh, here comes the Pastore.
What is he up to now?
We have no idea. He's taking his time though. He was getting passed by the...
Yeah, he's rejoining now. He has to pit again, for sure.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in danger towards... he's not going to be in danger by Da Silva.
Yeah, Da Silva is... No, but Da Silva has to unlap himself first. Well, what is going on with the car? It looks like this is not even a car. I don't know what it is anymore. It's just you can't go straight line, can you?
He has damage for sure.
He either has damage or he might have put slicks on the back.
He has to be extra careful there in the pit stop.
Yeah, because you don't want to collect damage there.
It's going to be too fast for my liking with the soft tires on the back.
It's like holding an egg and running with it. I mean, what are you getting?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god, I think he lost it again.
Yeah,
How many times
I think he did.
Oh, he DNF'd.
Oh, he retired. Oh, man. Such a shame.
Wow. Oh, what did he DNF though? I mean, he was in the pits. But, yeah, this is P3, I guess, for Silva. Very sad news for Ricardo.
Yeah, pretty harsh.
Yeah, but I don't understand
harsh way to finish the race.
The idea of DNF in the pit, because if he wanted to DNF because it was dangerous, he would have done it in the track. So I guess that may come down because of frustration.
Oh, and the Silva also going off.
Yeah,
so the DPI is not behaving correctly under rainy conditions. That's
yeah, but if we go to John Vitigas, he's having a wonderful time.
Yeah, John Vitigas is untouchable anyway. So.
Yeah, so if that would be great because oh, John Vitigas also. Yeah, looks like they touched the they can't. The thing is, in the rain, maybe they can't keep it flat out there, so they touched that grass, causing them to understeer. Which is what happened to Silva as well there. It looks like VD Guest was affected by that as well. Wow. Samir Arshad is not battling with John VD Guest because he's one lap down. Well, he also gets a little bit greedy. As the Silva is also, wow, this is this is turned out to be an interesting race. We have a battle going on now between Ed Jones and Tom Parton. They have about four minutes. The rest of the field is pretty much spread out. I mean, besides Rob Milliken, who's about 4 seconds behind Joe Brown, the rest of the field is spread out. Nicola Pastore about 67 ahead. Barrett Eriksson 38 seconds behind. Joe Brown 27 seconds behind. Rob Milliken and Ed Jones are one of the only cars in contention to gain a position in this last stages of the race. Samir is yet to unlap himself. What we see, Ed Jones is having a bit of a trouble in the rain, but in the rain it's just hard to keep the car steady. So you just need to focus on you more than opponent next to you, because a mistake could lead you to the wall, make you understeer, make you lose position. It's very dangerous. Rain is not as easy as people might think, because your braking point changes, your racing line changes a little bit. You might have to take a little wide. I mean, I'm not sure if R-Factor 1 simulated water puddles, but yeah, it's very hard to drive in the rain. If you haven't done it before, you should try it surely before the race. It's VD Guest laps Ed Jones. They will also lap. Oh my god! Oh my lord! VD Guest almost collected as he's taking the runway off. Almost collected a GT car. He was about to collect the Silva right there. I think because the braking difference is nice. Sorry, let me reword what I said. Oh my god, what is going on? Oh, it's unnecessary damage.
Chaos, pretty much.
Necessary damage for VD Guest. Oh, the Silva is trying to rejoin. Hopefully he notices that cars are coming behind. Wow. I don't know if you're watching this, Lorenzo, but this is
I am. This is chaos.
This is chaos. It is. And it's not like it's intended, it's out of control. Because in the rain, I think some drivers didn't practice that much the rain, besides probably VD Guest. So, and the rest of the GT field, of course. So, the braking points, it looks like they don't know the limit yet, so that's why we're hesitant. So we see that VD Guest was braking, McLaren was also getting outbraked by, or brake checked by the Silva, because he didn't know where to brake, I guess. Yeah, interesting. Actually interesting. As he gets past Tom Parton. So it looks like the battle that was going on between Ed Jones and Parton.
And Parton collected again with the Guest, so it's
wow,
kind of weird. Look at the track though. The track is completely wet now.
Yeah, it is. It's as wet as it ever get. I mean, you can see the reflection of the headlights, indicating of how wet it is. And look at the wipers, Lorenzo.
Man. I have never seen such conditions.
Yeah, look at the. If you look at next,
Puddles, it's completely wet.
If you look next, I mean, not in all parts, like for example the uphills, because the water will run down. But in some parts, looks like the water is collected heavily. Drivers might need to watch out for that. Ooh, that's a big water puddle right there. Again, right here, you can see the rain, like when he goes next to those water puddles, you see the rain still raining on. Because you can't see it. The drops, the raindrops are a little bit invisible to see. But when he gets near those water puddles in low speed, you can definitely see that the rain is hammering down. Rob Milliken is also, he gets up in time to Joe Brown, but loses it right after as race is about to finish. Only 10 seconds to go, so it's up to where VD Guest is. I think this is the last lap. Yeah, this is the last lap because he's gonna. Yeah, it's over. Race time is over, so yeah, 0 minutes remaining.
Yeah, this is the last lap. Yeah, correct.
It is the last lap, but nobody is in danger. So, from what it looks like, the positions would remain as they are. Wow, what a performance today, though, by John VD Guest. You can't take away the effort this guy put today.
Dominating drive today.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful job by John VD Guest. Very happy for the guy. Well deserved.
And deserved. I mean, he was untouchable by anyone.
I mean, Ricardo was trying to give him a challenge, but I mean, we saw in the middle stages of the race that he kept putting those best lap times, showing what he's capable of. Wonderful talent, amazing skills, and yeah, when you have all those in common, this is what you get. A win for John VD Guest.
Yes, P1. What a drive! I mean,
what a drive!
You gotta give it to the guy. It was on a whole different class today. Good on Samir shot as well. Good drive.
He gets a free P2, I would call it, because Ricardo.
Yeah, Ricardo vanished pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
As the leader is not yet to cross the line. Tom Pardon looks like he crossed the line there, so that's race over for Tom Pardon.
P6 for
Tom solid
Pardon,
P6.
confirming the Bentley is a strong car.
Oh, indeed, yeah. It's not a bad position at all, especially in this race of today. There was no corners, but there was a lot of things unfolding now. Things we didn't expect to see, because I didn't have in mind that the rain was... I didn't check the weather forecast, so I didn't know the rain was going to happen. I heard it from one of our drivers, probably Samir, that it might rain, but I didn't take that as for granted, so yeah, it looked like the rain has a very big effect on the race.
There we see Nicola Pastore, leader in GT class, winning the race, winning the Barcelona 1.5 hours.
He crosses the finish line. Absolutely good job. Looks like the rest of the field already crossed the finish line, so yeah, John Brown is also will cross it. P4 for Joe Brown.
P4 for Joe Brown. That's a good
result. And a P3
result.
for Barrett Eriksson. Wow, amazing results. Amazing. Rob Milliken is also crossing in P5. Beautiful stuff, Rob Milliken. Put in a good show. Tom Pardon already crossed the finish line. I think he's just trying to put his car back. Ed Jones, Peter Vlar. Not sure if they crossed the finish line or not, but it looks like they did. Yeah, what a great race. Oh! Hopefully they already crossed the finish line.
I'm not sure Peter Vlar crossed the finish line.
Wow, he collected the silver there. Not intentionally, of course, but... Celebrate. No, I think he did.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good show from Vlar as well. It was battling for P6 at one stage of the race.
Silva is going to give it back to him.
Pretty good.
Ooh, and he does. And
he got the worth of that, though. So.
Yeah, this is just people do having fun at the end. There's no rule to cool down lap, so people are free to do what they want.
So to sum it up, great race. Bit chaotic towards the end with the rain. John VD Guest winning, Samir Rashad P2, and Ricardo Riva. Obviously a DNF for him, but he was running P3 for most of the race. Great performance by John VD Guest because he was king of the castle today. Gil da Silva is shown in a different class, but he is a DPI, as is John VD Guest and Samir Rashad. So P4 or P3 depends on whether effectively P3 because Ricardo DNF'd. So P3, first podium for Gilles de Silva with the Mazda, the only Mazda in the race. Nicola Pastore winning for Eitharacingteam in P1. Johnny Gutierrez P2 with the BMW, great race from him. The first McLaren in the podium is Barrett Eriksson. Joe Brown P4, Rob Milliken P5, Tom Parton in the Bentley P6, Ed Jones, the other McLaren in the top 7, Peter Vlar with the grey Aston Martin P8, Hilton P9, and Giuseppe Pastore, an unfortunate engine failure put him out of contention. Didier Coelho in P11, but obviously a DNF in the first half of the race. And last but not least, Michael Labelle in the Audi R8 as well, a DNF. Great racing, and I'm looking forward to the next one, Nas.
As well, Lorenzo, I am. I think the rain is a cherry on the top when it comes to racing because it just shakes up the field. I think of it as a safety car deployed because it's just everything you've done is now back to 0.0, except the rain isn't back to 0.0, but those who had like pitted by like in the right moment to get that like burnt tires or wet tires, they will be in great advantage in the race. And as we saw today, it was the field was pretty shaked up, I would say, when the rain happened. We lost one of the Pastore, unfortunately, who was leading with his brother. It's confirmed that they're brothers. We already spoke with them in the last interview. If you didn't see that, check it out in the SimRacingOnline YouTube channel. Yeah, other than that, what a wonderful race today. Not sure if we're gonna get guys to interview, but we surely have Samir and Ricardo Riva.
Yes.
What a race, Samir! Congratulations on that P2. I mean, you
Not
took
the
it.
best race, but I will take the P2 anyway.
Yeah,
It's
of
a
course, you
podium.
took that at the end, or not at the end. I would say last stages when I would have to check with Ricardo what happened and what was the
No,
reason he
actually,
DNF'd.
actually, the DPI have a big issue with the wet tire, so
Yeah,
I think when Rick stayed out in the beginning, he did a very good job because with the dry tire, it was better on the rain than on the wet tires. I don't know how John did, but with the wet tire for us was very impossible to break. They were just locking up crazy, and we didn't have grip on the entry corner. We had so much understeer, and it was, I would say, it was better to drive on dry tire than wet tires.
yeah, we saw that many DPRs, De Silva, you, Ricardo, and sometimes John VDS as well, having issues with the car in terms of stopping it. Yeah, I almost collected actually De Silva at some points.
Yes, actually, I would say some GT had more pace than the DPI in the last part of the race because they were braking barely same as we were doing, and the only issue was we were on the limit, very on the limit. I think only also John did a few mistakes like me in the last part with the wet condition, and I think if we had a full wet race, it would have been a very tough race for us because the GT3 were very quick in the rain.
Yeah, we've surely noticed that John VDS almost got his race over because he got
By a GT3. I saw, but I was far.
yeah by Ed Jones, and De Silva also didn't know where to brake or something, which could have actually gave you a win today, but it would I would say
John,
it's I wouldn't want it for John to lose this race because his performance
yes.
today was absolutely wonderful. Yes, as we have the winner of the GT class, Nicola Pastore. Congratulations on the race. What a tough race today, I would say. Or was it?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was fun. Then unlucky, my brother got engine failure in a strange position in the straight, in the finish line almost, and it was not you know, a downshift engine failure or something. I don't know. Maybe we had a little bit too much tape, but in the same thing, I did it the same setup, so it was a little bit strange. But from there on, it was a little bit, you know, bring it home and yes, and wait off the rain and then see what happens.
Yeah, it looks
and
like
then was a little bit, yeah, it was a little bit difficult with the DPIs in the rain, because sometimes we were a little bit faster in some corners. So
yeah, I
but
was
in the
gonna
end,
ask you about the tire change you did, because it looks like because I saw you already pitted, but I didn't know that you were on rain tires, which is why I saw Johnny Gutierrez trying to close to you. But it turned out to be a wonderful choice for you to stay on the wet, because I didn't know in advance that the rain was gonna happen. But yeah, what a smart choice you did. Absolutely well done strategy for you. I'm sure the same would have happened to your brother Giuseppe, but
yeah, we was pretty same on the same thing. You know, it's like we went half through the race in the pit, and then yeah, then we waited off the rain, and then we pitted again.
well, then I surely hope Giuseppe comes back strong, and I'm sure he will. His only obstacle would be you, Nicola. So if you can hold him off, then
Yeah,
might get the win. So I hope the best for you as well for the next day. It's gonna be Magnicor. Are you excited for it?
yeah. Today, last time I was a little bit better, and this time he was a little bit better. So it's like we have more or less the same pace. It depends on the on the track, or some setups, settings, and yeah, it's always fun to race with him.
That is true indeed, Nicola. Congratulations once again as we go down to one of the drivers of today, and that is Tom Parton. Welcome.
Hello.
And yeah, what a race today. What do you think of it? And what was the ups and downs for you, Tom?
Qualifying was definitely my down. I did not get a lap together at all for qualifying. Disappointed to be in P10 in class. Feel like I probably could have potentially had the one lap pace to be up there with Rob and Pete Vlar, as opposed to being towards the back. But yeah, in the race, heavy with fuel. Strategy, obviously, knowing that the rain was going to be towards the end of the race, was just try and do a one-stop. Fuel the car, you know, lift and coast into certain corners, early upshifts, and just make the fuel last. So myself and Joe were on the same setup, same strategy, and just try and eke it out to the end of the race, to the rain, and then hopefully pick up a bit of pace in the rain as well. I got kind of lucky with a few of the incidents going on as well. So strength-wise, keeping it on the track, on the black stuff, and bringing it home, basically.
But if I remember correctly, Tom, it is you who had a battle with Ed Jones?
Yes, correct, yes.
So how was it like? It looks like it was an intense battle, but at the end, things, I'm sure you saw, got unfolded pretty quickly.
So, to be fair, to begin with, Ed wasn't sort of like the battle I was involved with to begin with. I was kind of trying to keep up with Rob and Pete. I think Pete had a bit of an off in the first few laps, and then had to fight his way back through. But I started to lose a bit of pace and drop back a bit, heavy with fuel, trying to save as much as possible and keep the tyres going towards the latter half of the race. And so Ed started to reel me in, and I had a bit of a moment into turn one, which I don't think he caught on the stream, and had like a half spin, but couldn't rejoin safely before Ed took the first corner, so I had to wait for Ed to go past, and then that's why I ended up in a battle with Ed. So on dries, great, really good battle. I was reeling Ed in, we had a good fight. He caught me out on the braking into the hairpin at the end of the second sector, start of the third sector, and so it looks, I don't know if you caught it on stream or not, but when I overtook Ed, it looks like I dived from him down the inside. But if I didn't turned to the inside, I would have ploughed straight into the back of him because he caught me. He was braked a bit early compared to what I was expecting. But in the end, it was all clean, no contact, and it worked out that I went up the inside and drove away. And then the rain happened. So it was just keeping it on the track, do a couple of laps just to let the rain start to soak in, and then stop, put the wets on, put a bit of fuel in the car just to make it to the end. And then Ed was a bit quicker than me in the wet, and probably would have had to defend quite hard from him for the last few minutes. But obviously he had an issue with, I think De Silva braked early in front of him or something. In the mirrors, it looked like De Silva braked early or locked up. And then obviously Ed got caught up with that, and then John van der Geest just went straight into the back of him. Although the lap previous, John nearly took me out at the hairpin as well, because he must have misjudged his braking or locked up, but he came absolutely flying between me and De Silva.
We actually caught that on stream, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
That was scary.
It was.
Saw it in the mirror, and I was like, okay, I can't turn in. John's not going to stop. John's not going to stop. No, John really isn't going to stop. And then obviously, thankfully, he managed to just use the runoff and survive. I survived that one. And then once obviously Ed had his issue, it was just for me, just keep it on the track and bring it home. So yeah, I'm happy with that. 6th place from 10th on the grid. I'll take 6th place. And I did say in the last interview at Mexico when the computer crashed, I will take a mid-table finish.
Yeah, absolutely. P6 is a nice result to actually take for granted. It's in the top 10 from P10 to P6. So I would take that as a good performance. But what do you think of Magny-Cours, and do you think you will come out even better in Magny-Cours?
It's not one of my strongest tracks. It's not one I'm that familiar with. I'm looking forward more to Red Bull Ring, if I'm honest. But yeah, Magny-Cours I'm going to need to do a bit of practice for, because I'm really not familiar, should I say, with that track, and I'm not overly enthralled by racing there. It's a bit of an old style track, very narrow, might make a bit of the overtaking from the DPI is a little bit sketchy at times. But we'll have to see how it goes when we get there. I'm not sure if there's going to be any rain at this one either. I know there's a few more races due at the end of the season with rain, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Well, if I can cheer you up, Tom, I would say the tracks we know the least are the ones we perform the best at. So, if anything, I would say I'll expect good performance from you in Magny-Cours, because that's where the track you actually put your skills in place. And yeah, I'm speaking from experience, so I would cheer you up a little bit and say I'm looking actually for good results for you.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. Depends on what happens around me.
Yeah, I'm if you think I'm trying to jinx it for you, Tom, then you'd be mistaken.
Well, there was no commentator's curse for me today, so...
Yeah, you should be lucky for that, actually. Because I was trying to keep it as neutral to keep you in the clear from the curse. But yeah, I guess I did a good job on you.
Yeah, it was a good race today. I enjoyed today. I had a good battle with Ed. And I don't know if he's still watching the stream or not, but I appreciate the race with Ed. It was a good battle and enjoyable.
Good to have you with us, Tom. Moving on to one of the drivers who didn't have a good race as Tom did. That is Ricardo Riva. A lot of issues today, Ricardo. Frustrating DNF. Can you tell us through what happened?
I'm very much upset from what happened. I got a drive-through. I still don't understand why. And I'm really upset because of that, because I really think I had the pace, maybe not to catch on John, but to give him a little bit of challenge and be a little more close to him, but I got the drive-through. I was lucky to get back on the grid, but I still didn't understand what happened with the rain. My car was absolutely undrivable. I was like spinning everywhere. The only thing I can say is I'm a bit upset because I had the pace. I was feeling good with the car, and usually I find myself pretty good on the rain. But I didn't understand what happened at all. I thought I maybe get the wrong tires, not the wet tires, but I was using the soft tires on the wet before. That wasn't the behavior I was expecting. So yeah, pretty much upset because it could have been a P2 easily. Kind of, I feel it kind of like I kind of throw it away. Let's say like that.
Well, if I would like to point something out, Ricardo, it looks like in the middle part of the race, you and VDS were going back and forth in terms of the fastest lap. Were you aware that about his lap times? Did you have any information about his lap times? Because it looks like every time he put a best lap, you go again and do the best one, and it kept going back and forth, and it was pretty intriguing to watch.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any information of his lap times. I was only like watching if I still had the best time, because I knew that between me and the race was pretty much between me and John. So when I saw that my best time was lowered by him, I instantly tried if I had clean track to get back to him. But as I said, probably getting that drive-through at the beginning cost me very much time on him. I could have been closer, but I mean, that's racing. I tried the jolly move on the wet to stay out with the softs, hoping like the race would stop, or at least having a dry line till the end. But there was a moment when I couldn't stay on the track anymore with the soft. Tried my best, tried the jolly, didn't work. But I mean, to win the race, that was pretty much the only thing I could have done. Because if I pitted, my race was pretty much over. So try the best, and yes, I'm a bit upset. Like I said, could have been an easy P2.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to be upset, Ricardo, because there's 3 more races to go. Magny-Cours, that is one of them. You think you're gonna bump up from what happened today, or come back strong for Magny-Cours?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I know that I can match now. Now I know if from Mexico, John was pretty much faster than me, and Andrew Harper, which I don't know why he didn't race today. Hope he will join back the next one, just to have a bit more of grid with the DPIs, you know. Yeah, well, you know, with John, I knew that he was faster, but I didn't expect to be capable of pretty much matching his lap times. He maybe had 2 or 3 tenths quicker. But yeah, I'm looking really much forward to Magny-Cours to at least give him a bit of challenge and to prove myself that I can win the race.
Well, we can't wait to see you there, Ricardo, and we hope you bounce back, because you're pretty much in contention for the win when it comes to racing against John. It looks like the drive-through and the incidents that happens in the last stages played a big role in what happened today. I would call it unfortunate results, but should be all taken as a lesson, and keep punching and moving forward. I'm sure you'll come back strong. Yeah.
Hope.
Yeah, go ahead, Ricardo.
No, I was saying I hope to be that, to be back stronger. You know, I mean, it's racing, it happens. Yeah, made me upset, but okay, looking to the next. This race is over, so head to the next one.
Indeed, Ricardo. It's next race is Magny-Cours. It's in 2 weeks. A lot of times to practice and prepare for it. It's gonna be a good battle. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Very entertaining. Not sure about the weather. We'll have to check on that. The drivers will have to check on that in the forum later. Once again, thanks for everyone who's watching the stream right now. Thank you for watching from the VOD, SimRacingOnline YouTube channel. Please.
We have also Joe Brown, if you want.
We have Joe Brown. Wow, completely ignored him. Joe Brown, first time talking to you. How are you doing? Good race today, and talk us through what happened today, Joe.
Nice to be with you. Thank you. Yeah, not much happened. I got passed on the start by Lewis Middleton, who seemed to burn his tyres up quite quickly. So we managed to get past him, and then it was just a case of watching watching Johnny disappear into the distance, much to my annoyance, but managing the time to Barrett behind, which I did all the way to the stop, and managed to eke out the fuel just until the first rain started to come along. Came into the pits, had thumb trouble on my pit lane speed limiter, so earned myself a stop-go penalty, which is why I ended up behind Barrett at the end. So no one else to blame but myself, but otherwise a good clean race. No contact apart from with one of the Pastori guys who came out of the pit just in front of me on one of their pit stops, and then we found each other in 2 or 3 corners later. But no problems with the race. Just all self-inflicted, which I find particularly frustrating.
Yeah. Absolutely was. A lot of things happened in this race, and I don't know if you watch VODs that many, but I would tell you that we were a big fan of your livery, first of all, and your performance as well. We always, when you see you on track, we always expect you to be in the top 5, even a contention for the win as well. So it's always good to see you on track. And may I ask you, are you looking forward to Magny-Cours?
Well, first of all credit to for the livery goes to Andy, one of my teammates at HSR, and he does a stellar job. He does all the skins for all the cars in all the race series across RF2 and ACC and everything else that we race in. And am I looking forward to Magny-Cours? Yeah, I can't say I've done too many races there before, perhaps 1 or 2 from a long time ago, so I need some practice. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. My benchmark is always Barrett Eriksson. Every time I beat him, it feels like a win to me. So it'll be interesting to see where I finish compared to him at a track that I've not raced at too many times before.
Well, if I tell you anything, Joe Brown, you were at 66 points in the championship lead, so you and Johnny were leading. After this race, the results will change, but you still have 3 more races to probably come back strong, and we hope you come back strong, as well as for all other teammates you have, including Barrett Eriksson, one of our favorite drivers we love to watch. Very consistent, very smart when it comes to strategy as well. Yeah, and thanks for joining us, Joe, today. Good to hear you. Good to talk to you.
No worries, my absolute pleasure. Yeah,
I would love to
look forward to the next race.
Absolutely.
Good job, guys. Good job. Keep it up. It's a good to watch the replays after the race as well. See what's going on. Good commentary.
Appreciate that, Joe. Well, we'd love to see you here more often. Feel free to join us, and any other drivers who wants to, feel free to join us in our Discord channel, and we'll move you up here if you feel to be interviewed. Other than that, next race is Magny-Cours. Like I said, it's going to happen in 2 weeks. If you want to join this race, you're absolutely free, and it's free to join as well in the website simracingonline.co.uk. Make an account, where to be approved, sign in, and you're good to go. Don't forget as well to check out their YouTube channel, where this VOD will be uploaded soon enough in their YouTube channel. SimRacingOnline as well. All the VODs that we did are stored in there. If you want to watch it again, see the beautiful stuff. We might have a surprise video at the end of this championship, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, thanks to all the drivers that joined us today: Joe, Nicola, Ricardo, Samir, and Tom. Appreciate you being here talking with us, and we can't wait to see you in the next race. From all of us, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.